What up, y'all? It is your boy, and we're back with the bobber. Yes, sir. So if you didn't see the last video, pretty much we finally built this thing a new battery, and this battery should give me what I've been trying to get from this bike for the longest amount of time. That is a lot of power, some nice speed, and some good range, and no more cutting off and having to walk it back home. We built a very large 50 amp hour 540 amp continuous battery, and today's test is a mileage test. Well, not quite, because this battery ended up doing the miles that I expected. I knew that was going to split this drive into two for mainly two reasons. My GoPro wouldn't last long enough, and for some odd reason during this video I started getting a headache. So instead, for this video, I wanted just to be the first test of the battery, the comparison to the old Scan battery when it comes to specs, and a little bit of a power upgrade I feel I get from this battery without even changing my settings, and of course some top speed test. So with that being said, because the main focus originally was on the range, I was talking about that a lot, I'll probably cut all that out. But anyways, let's get on the road and chat. Alright, so now we're on the road, but like I said, this video will more likely be split into two, or this testing will be split, because once again, I want to do some range on this bike. I want to have some fun on it, but if this bike can give me the miles I'm looking for, which I'm going to explain the miles I'm hoping for in a minute, then I don't want to be out here for too long. More than likely I'm going to do like 15 to 20 miles in this video, so I don't want to, that's already going to be out for a while. It's pretty cold out here, so I'm going to be at the shivering point by the time I'm done doing that much miles. And once again, if this can give me the miles I'm hoping for, then I'm more likely not going to be able to do that in one setting, because I'm going to be freezing out here. But how much miles am I hoping for? Well, if I can estimate, there's a company by the name of Tri Battery Systems, and they make this pretty much the same exact battery I built they make for Surons. This guy put this battery in his Suron. Suron was more likely like 130 pounds due to his upgrades. And he was doing about an average of 35 to 40, sometimes like 27, and got a max speed of like 60 miles per hour on the bike throughout his ride. But an average of 35 to maybe 40, and he got 60.07 miles. So this bobber being far heavier than the Suron, with some much heavier wheels and all that other heavier stuff to move, I am hoping for a good whopping 40 miles. Now, at what speed and power, that I'm not sure. You know, I'm not an enthusiast at this stuff, so to estimate that, I really don't know. I'm really not sure what to expect. I don't know if I could get 40 miles. I don't know if I can get that at slow speeds. I think I could easily get that at slow speeds, but I don't know if I can get it at high speeds. So gear one right now, chilling, cruising. Torque's not something crazy. Speed is pretty decent. Keep up with traffic with this speed. Oh, this gets bumpy right here. Woo! Speaking of bumps, you know what I like about the new battery? Little side note. Scan battery was slightly small enough, or slightly smaller than this battery box down here. So I sat some foam in the battery box to keep it extra protected, just in case any, you know, bouncing, rattling on bumpy roads like right now. Scan battery fits in there decently, not extremely tight, but it's a bit of a tight fit, which means on bumpy roads there won't be too much bouncing going on inside the battery, and I love that, because I won't have that fear that my battery's rattling like crazy. And who knows, maybe that won't really do anything to the battery, but I just don't like all that rattling and the feel of my battery bouncing around inside my bike. Just taking a quick look at the bike, because this thing is just, it's such a beauty, and I'm confident in this battery right now. If you haven't seen the video of me building the 20S 12 parallel battery for this bike, go ahead and check it out. It was the previous video. Shit, I'll throw it at the top right here. Should be right there, or right here, somewhere up there. Check that video out. First time ever building a battery, and I built that one of that magnitude. But the comparison I'm trying to do here is gear one, Scan battery would get about 4 voltage sag, which is not bad, it's pretty good. This seems to be at about 2 to 3 volt sags, so that's better. Scan battery on gear 2 I think will get like 5 to 6 volt sags, so we haven't hit gear 2 yet, but when we start driving we're going to hit gear 2 now. So once we see what type of battery sag are we seeing with gear 2 on this new battery, on my battery, I'll just call that for now, and we compare that, the next comparison is gear 3. The Scan battery would get 11 volt sag on gear 3. So let's see if we can look at some temps. We should be connected here. We're now at 4.061, 90% battery. Oh, we're not even hot. I'm assuming this MOS imbalance, I'm assuming that is like maybe balance wires or whatever. Or just the BMS, whichever one it is. BMS is only at 21 or 23C. I'm assuming those are maybe balance wire temperatures, and that must be BMS temperatures. So 21 on the BMS and 23 on the balance. And I'm assuming these are the cell temperatures with a little temp sensor that I did hook up. It's 20C and 17C. So we're about like 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That is not hot. I should do acceleration. Just hit it right off the line. So let's stop. We were just at here. There we go. 83 on here. If you may notice that there's a difference in here. This voltage meter is a little off. It's a little high. I think it's about 1 point some volt higher. We're gonna hit it and we're gonna see what the sag's like. So we're at 83, 79, 78, 77. So still about 6 volt sags. Okay. Now usually when I would check out the sag on the scan battery, I never really hit it off the line like that. So it'll probably still get that type of sag even slowly accelerating like now. I am getting sprinkles of water on my goggles. I'm hoping it's not on the lens. So just slowly accelerating off, picking up speed. I don't have my speed meter, I don't have the app up, so I don't know how fast I'm going, but I feel like I'm doing about 30, maybe almost 40. I'll say about 30 right now. I'm not getting a headache. We're only getting 3 volt sag. So off the line we get 6 volt sag with this battery. Slowly accelerating up, just driving normally, we only get 3 volt sag. I'm loving it, and the battery is not hot. So this battery gets no real sag. Okay, we got a 4 volt sag accelerating off a little faster, but it looks like we're going back up. Cells individually are about 3.9. Our lowest volt cell is 3.9, 15 volts. Woo! I'm loving it. Temperatures are still 22C and below, while T2 is still sitting at about 16 to 17C. And this battery handles voltage sag better than the scan battery. So I'm liking that. I am absolutely liking that. Ooh, look at that view. Alright, yeah, we're gonna take this road slow. They're doing some construction right here, and for some reason, man, I have a that was a lot bumpier than I expected. I have a headache. I didn't have a headache when I came out here, but now I got a headache. So I really don't want to roll with these bumps too fast. Head already hurt. All right, and this is the corner where we're gonna hit it. Sheesh! Look at this thing right here. We got a nice long straightaway. So y'all can see, no stops. See what we can do. Let's give it the juice. We were at 81 volts. We're down to 76. 73 volts. We're about to hit 60. Oh my God. I was not fully on the throttle, and once I realized I wasn't fully on the throttle, I went to hit it and this shit just pulled. I was doing 58 and it still just wanted to go. That is crazy. And y'all heard me. Yo, that is crazy. Y'all heard my reaction. It caught me off guard. It pulled that hard while still doing 57. I'm still not fully on the throttle, and we're going right now. 61, holy shit. 64, and I think I had a little more throttle to go.
So you may say, why didn't I go with the full speed if I had more juice? Well, it was the fastest I ever went on 2 wheels, so I'm not gonna lie. The bike felt very sturdy. I was just a little nervous. But because of that, because I know I had a lot more juice left in it, I had to go back out and try again.
I decided to do a proper speed test. It's little to no wind out here. It's pretty empty. We're on gear 3. Let's hold this throttle down. Let's hold this throttle down as long as we possibly can. Let's go, starting now. Sheesh. We got 68. Take two. We hit 73 miles per hour. Scoot up. Let's go. $74. God damn. I was saying to my family, my parents and my siblings, when I was building the project and it was at test driving stages, it wasn't painted, but I had the little silver handlebars on it, and I was testing it with the scan battery at 100 amps. I was telling them that I'm expecting at least 70 miles per hour with this bike. And it hits that shit. I think it'll hit 70 easily. Holy shit. Now the voltage sag was huge. We went from 80-81C all the way down to 73. That's still about a 7 to 8 volt sag. So its sag is still better than the scan battery. The scan battery, let's keep driving. Why am I stopping? So the scan battery would have like 11 volt sag. For all I know, maybe it hit 12 volts one time. I just didn't see it. So this still sags hard, but once again, that's a lot of power. They have this voltage sag less than the scan battery voltage sag at the same power. That's what I want to see. Is it a big margin difference? Not quite, but it's still letting me know it's doing better. But that also tells me the scan battery was holding its power pretty good. I wonder if that's because if that had sag because the cells just couldn't handle it, or maybe its connections were doo-doo. It had copper connections, I saw them. If I remember correctly, they were definitely copper, but they were just really small. So it could be still the connections with the scan battery, but obviously the scan battery had other problems that I could not stand, and it was just bothering me. Those problems being, I bought the scan battery. Okay, so this is probably going to be this is probably going to be the last time I explain this on this channel, because I'm honestly tired of talking about the scan battery. Now that we have the new battery, and we're probably going to get way better range. I mean, shit, we've done, when I checked, we had 8.88 miles and the battery was at 75%. So man, this thing should have some beautiful range, and as y'all can tell, we've done some pretty good speeds today. But the scan battery was supposed to be a 50 amp hour battery. It's supposed to have about the same much power. It's supposed to have about the same amount of power as this bike has. Or no, the scan battery was about 50 amp hours, and it's supposed to pack about as much power as this battery can give me. But instead, I mean, it was doing the power, but it was struggling more, and it was not acting like a 50 amp hour battery. It was acting like a 20 amp hour battery on a really heavy bike. Therefore, on lower speeds, like right now, 33 miles per hour on like gear 1 to gear 2, I was only getting like 18.80 miles, which is not bad for a smaller battery, but that's pretty goddamn bad for a 50 amp hour battery, at least from what I know of. Shit, my 25 amp hour battery on my Project Flash, that gives me like 25, 27 miles using high power, going like 44, 47 miles per hour. So for a 50 amp hour battery to be giving me 18.83 miles at low power, that's shit. That is bad. That is not good at all. That's bad power. So it wasn't giving me range. And at higher power, like 44 miles per hour average to like 53, I got 16.5 miles. And it's just like, that is not the range I wanted. I wanted further range. This is supposed to be my far away bike. This is supposed to be my far travel bike. You know, I go places, I go far on this bike. My other bikes, they're fun, I can go places, but I just need to go somewhere far, like 10 miles there and then 10 miles back, and make sure I still have enough power to keep up with traffic, passing power to get past slow, or people who are driving like the damn drunk. This is supposed to be that bike. My parents are still here and there talking about selling the White Expedition, the vehicle that I do drive. And that's because I just don't use it. I don't go anywhere enough, which is why I don't mind taking my bikes. These are fun anyway. Look at that view. But I don't mind taking my bikes to go places. I really don't use the truck like that. And for me to keep it and take care of it, I don't have money like that. I do side hustles for money, and I do side hustles to get these things and build these things. I don't really have a job. And don't get me wrong, I love trucks. I like pickup trucks. I love SUVs. And I'm a fan of a couple of SUVs. Ford Excursion, H2 Hummer, H1 Hummer. My favorite year of the Escalade is a 2002 to 2006. Love that look of the Escalade. We're about to go down my favorite little swirly road, but love the look of that Escalade. If it was one of those trucks, oh hell yeah, I get a job and try to keep it, maintain it, customize it, throw some rims on it, you know, throw some bangs on it. But it's a 2007 Ford Expedition Limited. It's a not bad looking SUV. I like the look of it, but is it worth getting a job for? Because I mean, who doesn't? I fucking hate jobs. You know, modern day slavery, you're working a 9 to 5, you ain't getting nothing real. All that yada yada shit, you know, everybody knows. Everybody hates working a lame ass job. Making another man rich, the man that owns the whole operation, you making him rich while you're still living by check to check. So do I want to do that to take care of a 07 Expedition? Not quite. I don't, the truck's, it looks good, but not good enough for that. So I'm not gonna get the money to maintain that truck. I'm not caring to take care of that truck. Yeah, it's not a truck that I would care to go get a job for, you know, maintain the money for, do more side hustles so I can make sure I can keep the truck. I don't know, the truck's not, it's not a truck that I like that. So I got my Sur-Ron, I got my bobber, I got my Project Flash. My bobber, now that I got this battery, is the bike I'm going to be taking everywhere, and it's going to be my main vehicle, which is why I'm trying to do so much to it and put money into it and customizations for it. So I'm not going to put money into the Expedition. I'm not going to put money into that truck. So to have that scam battery only giving me 18 miles, that is not it. It's not going to work. It was bothering me. I was trying to deal with it because I wanted to give some upgrades to my Sur-Ron, but I just couldn't take it. And I'm like, you know what, let me not be so fast to upgrade the Sur-Ron because I got to get used to it. It's a really lightweight, bouncy bike. As y'all just see, I did 64 miles per hour on this bobber. The only reason I was scared is because that's the fastest I've ever gone on 2 wheels. Sooner or later, I'm going to get used to that, and y'all probably will see me hit 70, especially when I turn the power up to 350. Woo! This 290 is already crazy to me. The 350? That 350 is going to be fun as fuck. So, y'all saw me hit 64 on this bike. I'll do that all day. 64 on a Sur-Ron? Oh, hell no. I'd be scared out of my mind. It's such a lightweight, little agile, easy to move bike. Where this has some pretty stiff turning. I can do this with the Sur-Ron, but I feel way more comfortable doing this with the bobber. Shit, I could do that probably at 50 miles per hour and not feel like I'm gonna fly off and die. Where the Sur-Ron is just, once again, it's too lightweight. It's too agile, it turns too easily, so going speeds on that bike is just gonna feel way more dangerous. So I'm like, let me not rush giving an upgrade to the Sur-Ron, and let me give upgrades to the bike that I want to be my main bike that I'll drive everywhere if I'm going somewhere, whether short or far, and I'm gonna want to get some high speeds just to keep up with traffic. Shit. If I'm gonna give one of these bikes all that speed and power, let's do the bobber first. The bobber, this thing is low center of gravity. Our battery's down here, so the weight is real low. Thick tires, super stable. I don't ever feel like I'm gonna fly off and die on this bike. It's so heavy and stable. If that was a Sur-Ron, oh man, I wouldn't have gone that fast. I probably would have hit like 55 and would have let off. So now that we got this done, the main upgrade, I got a few more upgrades I want to do. I might talk about a little later right now, since we're just talking about this battery specifically. That's what this video is about, the range test and the beautiful new battery. Man, check out the build video of this battery. You're gonna want to. Man, that tire sealant was supposed to not only seal the pinch I had in my inner tube, but it was supposed to balance my tire. Did not balance my tire. I'm gonna go up this swivel road. We're gonna turn right, go up the swivel road to a U-turn. Then I'm gonna call it quits. But I'm trying to hit about 15 plus miles for this video. That's all I'm trying to do. Another thing too, yeah, I gotta, as much as I would like to continue riding, not only am I freezing to death, these bumpy roads, it's making my headache worse. So now we're gonna get a little bit of speed. You know what I also love? old scam battery every time I would ride it, even if I would do under 16 miles. If my trip was like 10 miles, no matter what, it just always felt like something new was gonna happen with that battery. Because it already was still cutting off early. It wouldn't cut off at the 60 volts it was supposed to. It would cut off at like 74 volts. I always feel like I was just slowly damaging the battery the more I'd use it, and it would eventually want to just cut off sooner and stop working. And now that I have this bike and I did everything correctly, I don't see what the hell could be wrong. So the confidence I have right now being on this bike is crazy. I know this is my, oh boy, I'm so cold. When I turn my arm, my hand feels weird as hell. I was actually supposed to take the UE on that light. I didn't realize that that road kind of ended up fast, so I don't mind going down a little further. But it's that cold out here, so I'm ready to get back in the house. I'm freezing. I'm freezing to death. But yeah, man, the confidence I have on this battery right now, because there should absolutely be nothing wrong. I built this battery without having to buy anything directly from China. So I know that everything in this battery has been well tested before it's gotten to me. And then I did the small test that I could do. So there should be absolutely nothing wrong with this battery. I didn't do any major damaging this battery. I'm not gonna lie, beginner mistakes. I should have wrapped some cables up while they were soldered and all that shit on. I had a little bit of sparking. I'm not gonna lie. But I made sure everything was still fine, and everything was still fine. So the confidence I have in this battery right now is pretty high. We've done 16.18 miles. Okay, we're getting the miles that I was looking for. I was hoping to get about 20. We might not get it quite 20 miles, but we got that 15 plus. But let's see, who knows? The travel back home is probably 4 miles, now that I think about it. But once again, the confidence I have in this battery is just, woo! I have so much confidence in it. Have this battery, I'll finally also be able to do scenic videos. Like, I see the scene we're looking at right now with all these beautiful clouds. Yeah, I'm gonna need to get some wheel weights. This drive could be a little more comfortable without the tire mounting, or without the unbalanced tire. But I'm glad I got it sealed up, because it's not as dangerous as it was before. Oh, fuck that. So trust and believe, especially as it starts to get warmer, which hopefully that's going to happen soon since the rain's going away. We are definitely going to do a lot of scenic videos. I'm not going to lie to y'all, I'm going to say it right now. There's one road that's around my area that is wide open and you can see the whole of the city. I'm going to be doing all types of videos on that road. Especially now that I have this battery, and especially if it gives me the range that I'm hoping for. Woo! You're gonna see me doing all types of these scenic videos. But I'm about to make my way home, so I'm gonna hit y'all with a long outro. My first saying, I hope y'all enjoyed this one. If you did, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for the rest of my videos. I do fast e-bikes, I build fast e-bikes, and when I can, I buy fast e-bikes and I ride fast e-bikes. With that being said, I am out. Peace, and this is where we do our long outro.